Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Amy Copeland, the CEO of ICB, and we're going to let some people join us. We're really pleased you're here. And just so everyone's aware, we are going to send you a recording of this afterwards if you've signed up via the ICB website. If you don't get your recording or you don't think you've signed up in the right place, just give our friendly team a call and I'll make sure that you get your copy afterwards. And then you can watch it at your leisure. And I am just really pleased. We've got some great people to speak to you today. I'm hoping you're going to learn a lot about this fantastic career of bookkeeping. So we're here talking to you today. And, you know, new year, new you, or maybe just the same old you, but a better job. You can get professional bookkeeping qualifications without even leaving your house. And today I'm very pleased that I am joined by two incredibly inspiring women who are bookkeepers. Good afternoon, Stephanie. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Amy. Hello, everybody. I'm Stephanie. I am CEO and founder of Bookkeeping, Accountancy and Business Development Practice, ABCS UK, and I'm really excited to talk with you all today.
Fabulous. Nice to have you with us. And also Lillian. Good afternoon, Lillian. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you guys for having me. Hi, everyone. My name is Lillian, Lils, if we're besties. And I started my own practice called L&O Accounting Group. So yeah, really excited to kind of get into it today.
Brilliant. All right. Now, a little bit about why you might be here today. We've got a lady on screen here, Sharon Morris, another one of our members. And she works part-time hours for a full-time wage. You can't really say fairer than that, can you? But really, she says here, a career in bookkeeping has delivered great work-life balance. And what she loves about it is that it helps her fit that in around her family life. So she can be there with her children. I know that Sharon is really pleased that she's able to join the PTA, go to those book readings that schools organise. But you may have all sorts of other challenges that you need your work to fit around. And I'm very pleased that both Lillian and Stephanie have got lots and lots of things going on in their lives, and they're going to be able to share with you their stories of success so that you can shortcut your journey to this great profession. Now, a little bit about ICB. We are the UK's only dedicated bookkeeping governing body, and we are a small business ourselves, so we understand the joy and the sometimes challenges of running a small business. But this is a picture of our team at the Lucre Awards. Now, both Lillian and Stephanie, who are here today, have been nominated for a Lucre Award. They're absolutely the Oscars of the bookkeeping world. And it's our opportunity to shine a light on the great work that bookkeeping professionals do each year. But that's the ICB team there. Small and diverse team. But the main thing I want to say is that ICB is the only dedicated UK governing body for bookkeepers because we absolutely believe in bookkeepers. We see time and time again the transformative power that understanding their numbers has on business owners and the businesses they run. So do not underestimate the impact that you could have as a bookkeeper. Now, what exactly is bookkeeping? Now, a lot of people think that bookkeeping, you have to be really good at maths or have a degree in order to do it. But the great thing about bookkeeping is that there's no entry requirements. Yes, you've got to be have a firm grounding in the English language and have relatively good numeracy, but you don't have to be great at maths because that's what calculators and software are for. So just putting it out here, and what I really love about this diagram is that it shows that bookkeeping can actually encompass the full accounting function. And you could understand it as saying that really, fundamentally, every single business in the world has to keep books. They have to keep a log of their transactions and their money. And what the bookkeeper does is create systems and maintain those so that business owners can keep on top of things, keep businesses on the straight and narrow. And every single business in the whole world needs bookkeeping skills to do that work. And some of the accountants chartered accountants will come in at the end of that process, once the bookkeeper has done the great work, to analyse the figures and produce the tax returns. But actually, if you're with ICB, you can do the full part of this journey as well if you want to. Having said that, most of our members work very well alongside other accountants. And I think actually 98% of our members will do that, will work alongside other accountants, whether that's employed in a business that they work in or whether running their own businesses. So there are a few different types of businesses, as I've alluded to there. When I say in-house bookkeepers, I'm saying bookkeepers who work in a business that provides a different kind of service, not accounting. So that we often call that bookkeeping in industry. But you can get a job within the finance team of a larger business, or you could be the only accounting person in a business and reporting directly to the business owners. You may even find that you're already doing bookkeeping, but you're doing it for the family business or you're doing it for your partner's business, and you don't think of yourself as a professional bookkeeper yet. Now, we have a lot of people who join us every year with exactly that kind of experience, and they think, oh, well, I'm actually quite good at doing it for my partner, who's completely insane when it comes to numbers and systems, and I know that I'm good at that. So if you feel like you've got a talent for it, it is something that you can do professionally and earn really good money from. Now, self-employed bookkeepers, you can also do that in various different ways. We have around 200 to 300 people start a business every year, and most of them have no experience in bookkeeping or in running a business. So you can do that too. Now, as a self-employed bookkeeper, you could have anywhere from 2,000 to 2,000 clients, or you could work with other ICB practices and subcontract work from them. So they'll deal with the client and they'll deal with getting the business in, and you can just deal with doing the books. And that's sometimes a really great way to start off, and it makes you feel a bit more confident. And of course, you're supporting the bookkeeping profession. And finally, you could be a bookkeeper working in a bookkeeping firm or in an accountant's firm as well. And that's also a great way to learn the ropes. So lots of different ways to do it. And a lot of our members here at ICB are not working full time. So quite often we have people changing career because their needs change and they want to spend more time looking after family, looking after parents, or on their various side hustles. So it's something that can be really flexible, tailored to the time that you have available. And it's also something that's scalable, meaning that if you are at the moment juggling 5 kids and two aging parents, then you won't have very much time, so you can have a couple of clients. But when those kids go to school, or when you start to have a bit more time, then you can ramp up the business as and when you're ready. And the same goes with employed roles as well. And just a little bit of information about what it means to be a certified bookkeeper. Now, in the UK, if you want to run your own business as a bookkeeper, you need to have a license to do so, and you will need to comply with the money laundering regulations. Of course, there are also all sorts of other regulations, different VAT rates, all sorts of legislation updates happening every year. So we offer support for bookkeepers, whether you're employed or self-employed, and we offer that license to you if you want to run your own business. These are some of the things you get as a certified bookkeeper with ICB. So we can give you that designation, certified bookkeeper. And these are all things that begin with C, which is quite handy. The credibility is one thing that you get from us, having that professional title after your name and professional letters after it. And also the opportunity to progress your career. And CPD is shorthand for continuing professional development. So because bookkeeping is something that does, even though the principles of bookkeeping have never changed, the things that will change are things like tax deadlines and rates and allowances, and those change on a regular basis. So we give you support navigating those changes. Content, of course, is really important. That's news, that's updates, all sorts of resources. And compliance is really about keeping you legal, making sure that you've dotted the T's and crossed, no, you don't do that. You dot the I's and you cross the T's. So you've got everything you need in order to excel in your career as a bookkeeper. Concessions, community, and collective voice, all really nice things. Concessions really is discounts. You get lots of discounts as an ICB member. You get a wonderful community that will become your support network, and they will absolutely champion you and your career. And collective voice is really speaking to the fact that we are stronger together, and we will represent bookkeepers with government, with HMRC, and we are there to make sure that the bookkeeper's voice is always heard. So it's a little sort of whistle-stop tour about all the benefits of being an ICB member. Now, if you want to join in membership, there are these 3 levels of exams. Counterintuitively, they start at level 2. But if you want to start your training, you can do so without any other qualifications. Doesn't matter if you flunked your GCSEs, your O-levels or A-levels or whatever they're called now. You can start your training straight away, and you can start your training today. And like I say, you don't even have to leave your home, because you can train from home and you can take all your exams online any day of the year. So we start at level 2, after which you can become an associate member with these letters after your name. And then you progress on to level 3. And that's the point at which we say you are a certified bookkeeper and you're in membership as a full member. At that point, you can also get your practice license to run your own business. And you don't, like I say, have to have had experience in that before. But that's also a great opportunity then to get a job in accounting or to work for one of our ICB practices. And you can then have the option of progressing onto advanced level studies. So in order to become a fellow of ICB, you need to choose to do at least 3 of our 4 level 4 exams. And that's really the statutory services like filing corporation tax or self-assessment tax returns and filing accounts. And those services are optional add-ons for you once you've got the core understanding of how bookkeeping works. So unlike with some other bodies, you can pick and choose which of those level 4 services you want to add. You don't have to do the full range of them. And most of our members will pick the ones that are relevant to their career or that their clients perhaps are asking for, because you will get to increase your fees if you can increase your services. We're coming to the end of this huge PowerPoint presentation here. We have got lots of exceptional training providers who will help you on your journey towards becoming qualified. Now, our two members here today have trained with Ideal Schools and Training Link, respectively. They are some of our biggest training providers, and they have a wonderful knowledge of bookkeeping, and they are experts in training you to join this fantastic profession. But they're not the only ones. There's lots of other training providers as well. And you may also find that you've already got a bookkeeping course, or you're doing an AAT course at college. You can transfer over to ICB for exams, or after you've qualified, you can also transfer and become a member at that stage. So we try to make it as straightforward as possible, and we pride ourselves on being the most accessible accountancy qualifications in the business. And that's because all of the qualifications are available without prior experience, without prior qualifications. And like I say, you can take them all from the comfort of your own home. I've got one final slide to summarize. Here at ICB, we're here to certify, supervise, support, and connect bookkeepers. And we do that across the world. We do have members and representatives in a lot of the English-speaking world, Australia, New Zealand, and some members in America as well, Ireland. And we're also in parts of Asia, India, the Philippines, and Eastern Europe as well. So it is possible to raise the standards of bookkeeping throughout the world, which is what we are here to do. And we are here to connect you, with that huge fraternity, or let's say sisterhood, of bookkeepers. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen now and hand over to some of the people we're here to speak to who are far more interesting than I am. Let's start off with the fabulous Lillian. I'm so pleased you've joined us today. Now, I think what's interesting about your story is that you didn't leave college thinking you wanted to be a bookkeeper. You've come at it from a slightly different route. Might you be able to tell everybody how you decided to become a bookkeeper and what that journey's looked like?
Yes. So I've always wanted to do something with numbers and finance. So literally from like year 11 onwards, I chose the accounting route. So I went to uni, I did the ACCA, writing all the exams, working for the Big Four, that route, and becoming an auditor. But I think along my journey, I I started a charity. So I was helping a lot of the young people in my area. So I feel like I had like a life shift of like, I just really wanted to just find new ways to help people. And I just saw myself going to work all the time, helping these big corporations, doing a great job at that. But I wanted to find work that would better my community, educate people around me, because I think in terms of finance, managing your finances, anything money-wise, we don't really get that education within the Black community. It's something that's really spoken about. So I started researching, found out about bookkeeping. And what's so crazy is obviously you do cover that in ACCA, but it's literally you understanding the basics of accounting. I think that can get lost with a lot of these careers. And that's really what people need. And I thought, okay, cool, I'll just retrain myself. And that's how I found out about ICB. I found a really good training provider, Training Link. And like you said, the reason why this was all possible is because even though I was still working, I was able to map my training program around like what I'm doing day to day. So I made it work for myself. So yeah, just finding out that need of what I wanted to do, researching, I found out about bookkeeping. I was like, okay, cool, I want to qualify and have that certified there and just have something concrete and legit to show that this is what I want to do. I don't know if I'm making sense, but yeah, that's
That makes
essentially
total sense. What's interesting actually is we've got somebody in the Q&A who said that they also trained with ACCA, albeit 16 years ago, never got a practicing certificate, and unfortunately has had cancer and is going through that, has got 2 young children, can you believe it? And just wondering about the sort of transition to certified bookkeeper. I mean, from that kind of ACCA perspective, why would you, some people might say that's kind of like a step back to go and learn bookkeeping. Is there value in learning the bookkeeping?
so much value. I think the route that I went, well, in the route that I went down, and I went down an audit route, it meant that I never really touched tax. I wasn't here, posting any sort of like journals or doing year-end accounts or just understanding that process. So I just felt like I was so far removed, because in audit, it's not like you don't know anything, but it's it's so easy to just lose track of the basics of accounting. And yeah, the value in that is major. But I think I didn't see it as a step back at all, because it's knowledge that I needed to gain. That can't be, that's not something to look down on or say, oh, I'm going backwards. Nope, I'm gaining something new here, new knowledge. So that's the way that I saw it.
Fantastic. And if anyone has ACCA qualifications or ICAW, CIMA, we do offer some exemptions, but usually it's for qualifications that have been taken within the past 2 to 5 years. It's always a good idea to get in touch with our membership team. And, because the exams are available online every day of the year, you could do it at 3 a.m. in the morning once everyone's in bed. We do make it quite straightforward. And I think there is, it's worth saying that you can become more confident when you take these exams. So, Stephanie, you trained with Ideal Schools, didn't you? And what was your kind of trigger point? How did you come into bookkeeping? Why did you decide to study it?
Yeah, my journey into bookkeeping started from being really young. So I started studying business at the age of 14. And when I left school at 16, I went immediately into bookkeeping and accountancy. That was sort of the route that I wanted to take. I loved numbers. It was something I was fascinated by. I think you don't have to be good at maths to do bookkeeping, but I think it's really important. If you enjoy it anyway, it makes it much easier. So I studied my first accountancy course, an element or unit of a course, was at the age of 17. I then worked in industry. I started on an apprenticeship, so I went down an apprenticeship route, and I did a business administration apprenticeship, which got you to see the real life workings of a business, which you don't see in school. And then I ended up working for a lot of motor racing teams. So I was dealing with very large clients, multiple currencies, multiple trips abroad to all the different race circuits, and really fell in love with it. Then had my children very early. So I had my first at 21 and my second at 24. And when COVID hit, my employer at the time needed me in the office. And with 2 children to homeschool, it just wasn't possible. So I made the decision to start my own practice. I went through Ideal Schools. I needed that flexibility to work on at my own time once the children had gone to bed, things like that. Also, not having to go anywhere to take an exam was really important to me. And Ideal Schools have the phone capability, so you can pick up the phone and speak to your tutor, which I really needed. Instead of going round in circles trying to work it out myself, I really was stuck. There was somebody at the end of the phone that could help me. So I started my practice and went out on my own in April of 2021 and have grown ever since then.
Right. Well, fast forward to today. Tell us what the situation is. How's the business going?
So ABCS UK, as you know, is growing massively. We've taken on our first member of staff. She is administration at the moment, but is about to become a bookkeeper because she can see what we do and she has a natural flair for it, and I'm really excited to see her grow. And as a practice, we can support her and develop her through that. She'll go through Ideal Schools and ICB like I did. But we also do business development. So I love all things business. I'm an ideas woman. That's just me. That's what I excel at. So we do everything from building websites and shops to strategy sessions. So bookkeeping unlocks all that information that businesses need, but I also help them implement and make real changes in their business.
Great. Note to the team behind the scenes, can we please just edit that into a lovely little soundbite? I love that idea of bookkeeping unlocking the business. And then, you know, would you say that it's something that if you've got those skills, it does enable you to offer more to businesses? And what kind of difference are you making to those businesses, Stephanie?
Absolutely. So depending on the type of business I work with, everything is different. And I think it's really important to note that when you start a business as a business owner, if you're not starting a business in bookkeeping, that's not what you're there for. If your business is in creating music, then that's what you're good at. So they need people like bookkeepers who are good at what they do in order for their businesses to grow and thrive. We have a fairly small client base here because we want to work with them on a unique basis. And as they grow, my businesses grow too, because they naturally need more services.
Is there something, and this might be a good question actually for you, Lillian. I actually would love you to tell everybody about the sort of, you found yourself kind of an interesting niche as well, haven't you? Where do you get your clients and what kind of impact are you having on them?
So the area that I grew up in, or that I'm currently in now, Croydon, South London, has given birth to loads of like rappers, musicians, influencers, footballers, you name it. But I think a lot of them have been like thrust into the limelight. You've got a lot of, my main client base is music artists, and they're thrown into the deep end with these labels who chuck money at them, and they don't know, well, they're sending over their personal account to get 6 figures, 7 figures in there, which is mental for tax, but they don't know this stuff. They don't have the guidance. They don't know who to talk to. They don't know who to reach out to. And I think, especially with the conflict of interest with a lot of the labels, they don't care much. So a lot of the services that I provide for that section is with an element of care of what's best for you, showing them like, okay, we can use this accounting program. This is all you need to do, because they don't really want to deal with receipts and all of that stuff. They don't care, but they want to know what's easiest for them, and they just want someone to kind of bounce off their ideas and just kind of put things in like layman's terms for them. So yeah, there's a big gap in terms of music and influence and them understanding deadlines, simple bookkeeping. So those are the services that I offer, and just make them feel comfortable when the deadlines do come.
I think it's important to remember, isn't it, that actually the general level of knowledge about how to use accounting software, or when tax deadlines are, or the fact that you should probably be keeping your business expenses and income separate in a separate account from your personal account. The level of general awareness is really low, isn't it? Stephanie, what kind of businesses are you helping, and how do you come across them? Do you just kind of go out on the street and say, do you need help with this?
No, I don't. Although maybe I should get a billboard. That would be amazing. Walk around with a sandwich board on. No, I have an office based in Kent, and I'm in a complex of offices. So a lot of people will knock on the door because they can see where I am and what I do. The majority of my clients I started with came from sponsors in motorsport because they already knew me. I'd already built that relationship. And people who are sponsoring race cars, touring cars, Formula One cars, people like that, obviously have very large incomes themselves. And how to manage that money the best way possible. I love the fact that I can help so many businesses. I don't have a particular niche. I don't work with only people based in Kent either. We work with people all over the country. As you can tell by the accent, I'm northern, even though I live in Kent. So I look after people back home too. And I think it's really important that the advisory services that we give them helps them. And I pull tools or software or knowledge from one industry across to another, and we get better results from that by testing them from horse training and then pulling it across to a car mechanic, for example.
I like that idea of kind of being able to aggregate the information that you're getting from your clients, kind of benchmark them and help them in a bigger way. Yeah, that's really good. Tell me about what a typical day looks like for you, Stephanie.
For me, so I have 2 children, so I do the school run first. That's the first thing I do. I am a 5 a.m. alarmer. I do like to do 2 hours in the morning before the children get up for school. I think it's really important to use, that's when I work best as a person, in the morning. So I'm an early to bed, but I'm an early riser. So I use those 2 hours to get on top of anything urgent. I take the children to school and then I head into the office. We have a lot of meetings, we have a lot of client work, although in the summer holidays when the children are off school, we have no client meetings in August, and the clients understand that from the get-go. I think it's really important that you set the boundaries from day one. We will do bank reconciliations, or we will do VAT returns, payroll. This week for us, it's payroll because it's the end of the month. It's quite a busy payroll week for us. I have a free weekly podcast for business owners, which is 15-minute episodes, so I'll record that. I record those in bulk, so I record like a month at a time and then schedule them for the month ahead. And then I'm back at picking the children up at 2:30. So for me, it's literally just those school hours where we do all the actual main work and the client-facing work.
Amazing. That's incredible. That's brilliant. So and then you pick the kids up and then you try not to look at the work again?
Try not to. It doesn't always work, but try not to.
I love that. And then you can have August not reacting with your clients.
No, so with the thank you, Rachel, that's really sweet. The clients that know me, so we still do the VAT, we still do all the compliance, we still do the payroll. Everything's done remotely. We systemize and automate as much as possible so that the business can still function without me physically being in it day in, day out, 24/7. So the work still gets done, but there's no client facing work, there's no meetings, and there's no sales calls, for example, in August.
Everyone wants the link to the podcast now. Lillian, you are also big on social media, aren't you? You are an influencer, let's say. I think we're in the presence of 2 influencers here. How do you kind of juggle your day to day? And presumably you're not just doing bookkeeping. We know you're also doing your audit work as well. How do you make it work?
I am winging it, but no, I don't think I could survive without a really, really organized calendar. So if it's not in my calendar, I'm probably not gonna remember to do it. But no, I literally map out my days. I've got meetings all day, but I'm very good at splitting my time and just creating a structure. I think that's one of the main things. Like Stephanie said, I am a morning person. I'm so productive in the morning. Once it hits like 2 o'clock, that's winging it mode. That's okay. What's left to do? I'm gonna give it as much as I can. But no, literally, I structure out my days and I do that. I plan that in the beginning of the week and I follow through, because it's not just accounting, bookkeeping, auditing. I've also got the athletics platform that I'm running. I've also got the charity and the young people that I've got to coordinate and all the events. So so much to do, but it's possible. I feel like when you're doing something that you're super passionate about, you make it work, you make the days work. So yeah. Oh, I'm also very honest about my capacity. That's something that I've learned from last year. If I don't have the capacity to do things, I don't take on that work. So yeah.
I love this idea of boundaries. I think we've got this hashtag ICB, which is be more bookkeeper. And it comes from the fact that I recognize bookkeepers have a lot of qualities that I would like, mostly boundaries, of which I have none. And Stephanie, I think it was a post once you said about during lockdown, you and the kids have disco moments
We
in the
have kitchen discos, yeah.
disco, which we have at my house as well, but you've got a good system where everyone picks one song each, whereas in my house everyone ends up dancing in the kitchen and then everyone's late for bed, basically. So I think there's a kind of a theme coming out, which is that bookkeeping is it's that sort of gateway into supporting businesses. And that actually, yes, you're doing the bookkeeping, you're keeping the accounts, but actually you're really kind of a systems controller. So it's about setting up systems and helping businesses maintain them. Lillian, do you think there are any other kind of special skills that anybody watching today might be like, oh, okay, maybe this is the right career for me? Is there a kind of defining set of skills you need as a bookkeeper?
You need to be good at managing your time. You need to be, I guess, very attention to detail. We're dealing with numbers here, so you need to make sure that you're fully focused and on job and, paying attention to what it is that you're doing. I don't know if I'd call it a skill, but I'd say that there needs, in every project that you're doing, there needs to be an element of care, because I think then that allows you to follow through in whatever, on the task. I think those are the most important things, at least for me. I don't know what you'd put forward, Stephanie.
I think I 100% agree, Lillian. Like, caring and empathy makes such a difference. We have a saying here is when we take on a new client, they join the ABCS UK family, because we become like family. Clients have new grandchildren and I am immediately out to buy a card for them. I mean, we become one, we become a partnership, we become a team. It's not a client and outsourcing relationship here. We build true, real relationships where we get to know each other intricately. And I think that's really important with the way that I work and the way that they work with me, because if I understand them and their business and where they're at, then I can help them to the most of my capacity because I care. I've got a client in San Diego this week, so we're working on San Diego time for correspondence because I know that that's where they are and I know they're behind. And it's little things like that. I think what Amy said, the key things is the willingness to learn. As you say, things change all the time. The last 12 months of government is enough to know how many different budgets we've had, how many times things have changed, things have come into place or been delayed, and you have to be ready to adapt to that change and fully, confidently explain to your clients the changes as they are occurring, or your employer if you're employed.
We haven't mentioned that kind of those three words, making tax digital. HMRC is undertaking a huge initiative to digitalize the tax system. The idea being that all businesses, all self-employed people coming up in 2026 should be keeping digital records. But you might have a thought on this, Lillian. With all self-employed people earning over 30k a year, they should be using digital software like Xero, Sage, QuickBooks, Free Agent, and the likes. Iris, to name some, and they've got to start doing their tax returns this way through a system. We think they're going to have to do quarterly returns as well. What do you think the level of awareness of this is, and do you think this is the kind of thing that bookkeepers can help with?
Definitely. I think there's I think even on social media you see it, because Stephanie, I'm not sure about you, but even if before I started on the bookkeeping journey, let us enter the final week of January, my phone blows up from family members to friends of friends of friends, girlfriends of whoever's, literally. And I think there's so much that can be done to fill that gap in terms of the knowledge, because even just small things of just keeping records throughout the year, I think people don't do that, and it's so evident that you get to January and you start panicking, or you get to, do you know what I mean? So I think there's so much, there's even webinars like this from accounting bodies, training providers, that just to give that information. I think people just don't know where to source it until it's too late. But it should be essentially like an all year round thing. But yeah, especially with the transition that's taking place now. I don't even think people know. They
I
really
don't
don't.
know. And it's
Yeah.
hundreds of thousands of people. I mean, let's think about the kind of the scope of the size of the market here. We've got, I think it's 5.8 million businesses in the UK. And a lot of people think, oh, they're all big businesses. They're not. Hardly any of them are big businesses. The vast majority of them are small businesses, sole traders, tradespeople, construction industry people. I mean, these are the people really crying out for help, aren't they? What does it mean to you, I guess, kind of, Stephanie, we're kind of coming up to our kind of 40 minutes here. You know, how does it feel to you to have this kind of job? And is it something, would you trade it in for something else, given the
In
chance?
a word, no, absolutely not. And that's not just because I'm on this webinar today. My job is so fulfilling. I make a true difference to business owners. There is no better feeling than somebody coming to me as a client who is losing sleep because they don't understand the letter they've got from the HMRC or the tax bill, or they've shoved everything under the carpet. Like Lillian said, it's February the 24th. I had a sales call this morning. Like, people are still panicking. And I only see my clients on a quarterly basis, a minimum anyway. I won't do once a year because I can't help them once the tax year has passed. I often use the analogy, if you've listened to the podcast, you'll have heard it. I often use the analogy, if you go to the doctors and go, I had a headache 6 weeks ago, they're not going to be able to help you. And it's the same with the tax year. The tax year was over, and we were nearly at the end of the next one. We're still dealing with 22, 2023 for some people. And that's, we're not of a benefit. We can be a much more of a benefit as a bookkeeper, as a friend in business, as a fellow business owner who understands the journey, if we see each other throughout the year. It's just so fulfilling making that difference. I had one client who didn't realize that their old accountant had not reclaimed the VAT when they'd changed over from cash to accrual basis. There's lots of different technicalities, but there was a lot of missed VAT that hadn't been reclaimed, and there is a time limit to reclaim that from the HMRC, and we got it just in time, and they got 6 figures back from the HMRC that they were owed. They didn't know they were owed. We have that power as bookkeepers to unlock that knowledge that they don't have.
Yikes. Yikes. And that is the, you know, and I think that's why they say if you are running your business as bookkeeper, your reputation will spread by word of mouth, because there is nobody that business owner isn't mentioning that saving to, or that rebate or refund or whatever it was. Wow. So tangible differences. Lillian, loads of us, particularly in January, I don't know if it's just me, but you know, the sky is grey, and one minute you're like, oh, I could do everything, and the next minute you're like, oh gosh, I can't do anything. And for somebody who's sitting there watching this, perhaps having imposter syndrome, very common, what would you say? I mean, if somebody thinks, oh, I can't do it, what are your words of wisdom?
Words of wisdom. I'm very, very, very big on having honest conversations with yourself. So even with the capacity level, I think you feel like you want to take everything on, but you can't. You have to be honest. So I always sit with myself and ask myself why I want to do something. And just even my whys push me to push forward on, you know, the task at hand. Imposter syndrome is something that I've battled with a lot. But honestly, I feel like I just got to that point in life where I was just like, no, but I deserve to be here. I worked hard to be here. This is what I want. And that's literally what pushes me. I'm not sure if those are the most wisest words, but honestly, like when people doubt themselves, it really bothers me. So I'm just like, know who you are. Like, know that you know who you are, know what you are capable of, because we see it, and I want people to see it in themselves. But honestly, this is such a great path to embark on. Like, it's so fulfilling. There's so many like opportunities there. Like, working as an auditor, I've audited payroll, but being able to actually like do that, like there's so many different avenues of work that you can get. You don't have to just, you know, open up your own practice. You can work in other companies, but you can work in so many different areas. That's crazy. It's the opportunities are endless. Like, just have that in mind. Like, have that vision in mind, because you're being without work is not going to be your portion at all, at all.
I'm sort of speechless of how wonderfully you put that. Yeah, can hardly speak. I think we're going to wrap it up there, even though I could speak to these talented business owners all afternoon. Just to kind of summarize, like these brilliant people said, this is indeed a super flexible career, and ICB can offer you a way to legitimize yourself if this is something you want to take seriously, whether you want to be working in an accounting firm, whether you want to work in any business in the world, the family business, your partner's business, or you want to run your own business. You can get professional qualifications, and you will become a professional person, and you will have, if you want it, a career for life. And just to say, somebody did ask about what can members actually do. Our qualifications cover bookkeeping for all manner of businesses, sole traders, limited companies, partnerships, and we cover bookkeeping up until until year end, basically, so you can provide a set of year-end figures for a business. And yes, Katerina, you can do budgeting and forecasts and provide business insight. You should absolutely do that if you want to. We do have a qualification at level 4 that covers business insight. But a lot of those things depend on you, and they depend on what the business owner wants. So that's not in itself a kind of regulated service. But if you're doing something like tax returns and final accounts that you are submitting to the tax man, to HMRC, you do need to have those qualifications. But again, they're optional and available to you once you've hit that level, and you can pick and choose those depending on what you want. So just any final words to summarize, anything from you, Stephanie, as we say goodbye to everybody?
Just thank you for joining, really. I think you'll be able to find all of us on social media, the ICB themselves and all of us. If you've got any questions, come and ask us. We're all honest, so we can help you answer any questions. If you wanted to speak to us instead of the professional body and ask for our real world experiences, then we're here.
Go get the goss. Thank you for that. Anything, any parting words from you, Lillian?
Go be great, guys. Go be great.
Go be great. And we are here to help you do that. If you want experience as a bookkeeper, that's why we've got a branch network of amazingly supportive bookkeepers. So ICB 100% supporting bookkeepers and payroll professionals, but also once you're a member, you do get to lean on that incredible community, and they are just as great as these ladies I'm here with today. So thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Have a fantastic afternoon. Take care. Bye.
Bye.